That was a classic joint right there. Whatever happened to them dudes? They came with this. I don't even know if they had an album. I might have to check that out if they even had an album. But yeah, that song was a classic right there. Full of Smoke by Christian. I guess that was the name of the group. But yeah, I'm back. I'm back for an episode. I said a episode. I didn't say another episode. Oh man, it feels so weird to be back. It feels so weird to be recording. Like I've gone like weeks of preparing for episodes and just not sitting down to record. Like it's been tough to actually sit down and actually record. I mean, I've been putting episodes together. I've been saving clips. I've been saving topics. I've been saving posts, but I just couldn't sit down to record. And like I kind of, I have an idea of why. I mean, I know why to a degree. But yeah, I'm finally just set my butt down and I'm recording. I just got finished, you know, just looking over um my outline because I did this outline probably 2 weeks ago for this particular episode, but this particular episode was already done in my mind. Like, I already knew what I was going to talk about. I already had the topics. I already had the clips, and like I got a kind of a duality with me. I'm very passionate about speaking my mind. Um, I I question things. I have a passion to fight, um, figuratively and literally. um, but then there's also a side of me that is very stoic, that can be nonchalant at times, very reserved and introverted. And that's probably what most people know about me. It's probably a handful of people who really know the extroverted part of me, the jokester, the goofy type, you know what I'm saying? And both of those sides are part of me, and I feel like everybody has multiple sides to them or personalities, whatever you want to call it. Um and it could come out in different environments around different people, et cetera, et cetera. But I also know the part of me that is too reserved, too introverted, too nonchalant, too stoic. And that has come from me being a child and growing up and, being stifled as far as, speaking my mind and asking questions and stuff like that. And that's like or a tug of war that has always been around. It's easy to do it outside of the home, and in the home when I was doing it, I was getting in trouble, a lot of trouble. Anytime I was getting in trouble was because I was speaking my mind or asking questions or just being literally who I truly am. I'm a very passionate person. I'm a very outspoken person, and over like the years of me growing up and of my life period, it it those sides became black and white. There wasn't no gray area. Just it was two sides of it. It was either I'm going to be direct and up front, or I'm going to hold it in for so long that it's going to be a blow up. So it was two sides, and it was never just that gray area, that middle, that balance of me just being very direct, very outspoken, very passionate, and putting, just speaking my mind, being me, being authentic, putting boundaries in place, you know what I'm saying? And like over the past couple of years, you know, going to therapy and working this stuff out and dealing with it and being more assertive and being more assertive as opposed to aggressive. That was a focus at one point, um, just by me. I said to myself, I need to start being more assertive as opposed to aggressive. And even um, it was like no matter what side it was, there was always an issue with somebody that was in my life. Whether it was just me just being my authentic self, being direct, outspoken, passionate, there was an issue. So then in turn, I would stifle myself, be quiet, let things slide, try not to rock the boat and stuff like that. And then it would just come to a period where I would just have a blow up, because I've been holding it in for so long. And I got to the point where, I was doing real good with just, finding that balance, being assertive, more so aggressive. And then, you know, when I found myself like over the past couple of years, and I think this has affected a lot when it came to the podcast of me just not truly being my authentic self. And it was affecting me in more areas than just the podcast. It was affecting me in all aspects of my life where I was just trying not to rock the boat. I was letting stuff slide. Um, I was being more nonchalant about things, and just letting certain people, certain people cross boundaries that I had in place. Well, that I thought I had in place, but obviously I didn't because I wasn't speaking up. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't being my authentic self. And just, you know, um, it affected me in the podcast because, I started hesitating. I started questioning the things that I believed in. I started questioning my opinions. I started questioning my own experiences with things in relation to certain topics and stuff. And I was just hesitating. I was hesitating. I wasn't being myself. I was, just not being me, the me that I know that I was. And I would like wrestle with that internally. Like I would literally, like, I knew like 80% of me, you know, would be direct, be passionate, be outspoken, speak my mind, question things, don't care what nobody think about it. Not in a disrespectful way, but in a way of respecting myself and how I saw things, my opinions and stuff like that. Because I'm never in the mindset of trying to be disrespectful to a person when I'm being outspoken and stuff like that. But I found myself disrespecting myself. I wasn't showing up for myself. I wasn't being myself authentically. I was being afraid to speak my mind because I didn't want people to feel away or rock the boat or lose friendships or whatever it was. And it was killing me inside. It really was, because you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. Like even when I was being quiet, somebody still had some reason to have an issue with me. And these were, excuse me, supposed to be family, friends, whatever it was. I couldn't. So it was like I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, bruh, even when you ain't speaking your mind, somebody got issues or having some type of assumption or opinion about you and how you conduct yourself. So why not just do you. And like that feels better. But it was like that 20% in me was too worried about, and I know where this comes from. It comes from, my past, my depression, not my depression, the depression that I was dealing with, the anxiety I was dealing with, the issues that my inner child or the younger me went through, that would be so worried about rocking the boat, not, what I'm saying, making somebody feel a certain type of way, and worried about if I speak my mind, if I'm going to lose this person or if they're going to get mad and stuff like that. And that pissed me off. Like, I would literally be by myself in the house and just being pissed off, mad at myself that I'm allowing myself to let my boundaries get crossed and me not being assertive and stuff like that. Like, the only person that I had to be mad at was myself. And I would take it out on other people, in certain situations, because I was holding it in. And even like with the podcast, I was just holding so much stuff in, worrying about what people was going to think about me if I have a different opinion about certain things and stuff. And this is what the society and social media has brought up, that everything outside of the collective or what everybody else was saying or believing in was hate or disrespect and stuff. And I fell victim to that shit. I'm not gonna lie. I fell victim to it, and I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed because I know that's not me. From the time that I've been a child, despite what like some people have thought about me, it's literally people that have thought that I was the way that I was because I'm a fan of Tupac, and Tupac was the way he was. He was outspoken and passionate or whatever. But I've been that way since a kid. Like, my mother would tell you that. From all the times that I've gotten in trouble, she would tell you that. Like, I remember hearing her tell certain people that I was like this. And they would come back to me and say, yeah, your mother told me that you was very rebellious and all this other stuff. Like, I've always been that way. But it was silly people who had their own insecurities and their own assumptions and negative opinions of me that thought that I was trying to be Tupac. Like, what goofy shit is that? You know what I'm saying? One thing that I always talked about on this podcast, I can't stand followers. I can't stand following. And I fell victim to it. I fell victim to being afraid of being myself. Having my own opinion, being passionate about the things that I'm passionate about, and outspoken about those things. I fell victim to that. And that affected more areas than just the podcast. That affected me in a lot of areas of my life. And internally, it ate me up. It pretty much spiraled me into another depression because, like, even like physically, I wasn't feeling right because I was holding stuff in. I wasn't being my authentic self. I wasn't confident in being who I know that I am. Like, as God is my witness, I can feel God inside of me telling me, this ain't who I made you to be. This ain't who I created you to be. You were supposed to be outspoken. You supposed to be passionate about things. You supposed to lead with your feelings, with your emotions. And it's funny because, I kept getting little small reminders, in my daily life on this. And one of them recently came up yesterday and today. And y'all know that I'm into astrology. I'm big on understanding astrology and how it relates to the person you are and how certain excuse me, your birth chart and affects you and describes you, made you in a way, and how these things still affect you throughout the day. through the seasons, through the years, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things that I came across that pretty much like confirmed this and like was like another push a nudge on me was I follow this app called the Pattern app, and you gotta put all your information in there, your birth date, the time that you were born, where you were born, stuff like that, and it gives you your birth chart, and it also updates you on current things that's going on in your life or things that you can experience and work on based on where the planets are aligned and stuff like that. And that junk be accurate as hell. Accurate as hell. So one of the things that popped up that really like knocked me upside my head was it says my moon is in the first house, and it said it's titled the emotional pioneer. And this is a summary of it. It says with your moon in the first house, you might clearly display your emotions and your approach to life, conveying a kind of warrior energy. Your greatest strength lies in combining the ability to lead from the heart with your intense and direct feelings. I read that, man, I almost fell out because I think about when I first started podcasting, not just me podcasting, solo, when the Unproductive and Unapologetic podcast started. I came up with that idea that we should do this podcast with the fellas. And at that same time, I came up with the idea for my blog, greatestiamblog.com. And when I came up with those two things, that was a very shaky point in my life. I just, my contract was done with my government contracting job. I was unemployed at the time, and I didn't know what the hell, I was going to do. I got a house with a mortgage. I got a car note. I got bills, but I tried to. I didn't try. I stayed as focused and balanced and at peace as I could. I meditated a lot, and I believe, I don't believe in no coincidence. I believe that that period in time was a very important time in my life to come up with these ideas, to come up with that blog, to be vulnerable about what I went through or was going through with depression and anxiety. It was a creative outlet as well. I got more into my writing and the podcast, with the fellas. And then the solo podcast came out of that. And in the midst of me doing those two things, I started flourishing in a way that I didn't know that not that I didn't, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know that I could have these, these experiences. I was getting speaking engagements, people asking me to be on their podcast, people asking me to come speak at, events and stuff like that. And part of me was scared as hell. I was scared as hell. I did do some of the things, but a lot of things I turned down. A lot of things I turned down because I was afraid. I didn't think that I was worthy. I looked at it specifically with the mental health stuff. I looked at it like, I'm not a mental health professional. Why are they asking me to do this? What do I have to offer that these mental health professionals don't have to offer? Sometimes when, I was asked to be at these events, I was the only one that didn't have a, degree in mental health. And I was intimidated. And I pretty much like gave up on myself. But it also showed me that, when I'm being authentic, when I'm being vulnerable, that the world is opened up for me. That people are gonna see me, people are gonna recognize me. But I just didn't have that confidence enough in myself. I was dealing with that here go a buzz term, that imposter syndrome. I was dealing with that imposter syndrome, and I held myself back. Like I go through moments where I sit there and I just be thinking like, damn. I look at people who were starting out at the same time as me and how they have flourished so much, and I be like, damn, they doing a good job and stuff like that. And then I look at it, be like, damn. And I'm really back. I'm still at the beginning stages of where I was from jump because, I was holding myself back. I was afraid. I didn't believe in myself. And to me, like, even right now saying it, I'm embarrassed, but I can't hide from the truth of the matter. I held myself back. I did not believe in myself. I did not step up. I did not understand. I didn't see what everybody else saw in me. And I know that's something that I've dealt with a lot in my life. I pretty much that's a loop. That's been a loop in my life. People seeing greatness in me, but I don't see it. And I was just like, damn. And I'm not trying, and it wasn't never a situation where I wanted to do these things for fame or to get attention or anything like that. I just felt it inside of me. I was passionate about it. I was passionate about speaking about mental health, the things that I was going through. I wasn't trying to be a doctor to nobody. I just wanted to speak on my experiences. And with the podcast, I got things to say. As much as reserved and introverted and stoic and nonchalant as I come off, I'm a very passionate person and I got shit to say. I got shit to say. And it's hard keeping quiet. Like, even the moments where I've had breaks with the podcast and I will be saying stuff, I will be putting shows together, saying topics and stuff on social media and the news and stuff like that, it be burning inside of me. Like, I will literally feel the burn inside of me because I'm not saying anything. I'm not speaking on it. And it physically, mentally, and emotionally, it was affecting me. Shit, spiritually, it was affecting me. Like, I was walking around and pretty much in a daze and autopilot. I was just disgusted with everything around me because I was literally disgusted with myself. And recently, like when I said I was putting this show together, what made me particularly put this episode together was something. I came across something on social media that pissed me off. It pissed me off. Like, I was like, no, I can't let this go. I can't let what this person is saying and putting out there. I can't let this go. And it's funny because June is Men's Health Month. And what's also funny about it is, I love seeing all the stuff on social media about Men's Health Month, but a lot of people have been framing it wrong. People have been saying June is Men's Mental Health Month. And yeah, mental health is part of health, but that's not what it is. And I know I'm being I know I'm being petty, but I don't know. The details. Like, I'm big on details, and June is Men's Health Month, not Men's Mental Health Month. Mental health is part of health, but yeah, it's Men's Health Month. I know that's petty, but it irks me. But yeah, June is Men's Health Month. And another funny thing is June 1st was the anniversary of the podcast. So I started the solo podcast I believe in June 1st, 2019, and June 1st, 2025 just passed. So I've been solo podcasting for 6 years, podcasting period since 2017. So 8 years, yeah. Um, but that's pretty much the state of the union of the podcast. Like I've been talking for so long, I ain't even officially introduced the show. But let me do that now, and we gonna get into what was pissing me off. So here we go. It's a Taste to Consider podcast. I'm your host, Derek Silver, and we are back for another episode. So let's get right into it. And I've gone back and forth whether I wanted to really get into this because I've seen so many people like agree with this bullshit and people that like follow me and follow me for the podcast and the blog and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can't believe y'all agree with this stuff. I can't, but I gotta speak on it. So it's this podcast and podcaster that's popped up out of nowhere and just blew up. And I got some conspiracy theories around it because some of the narrative around some of the things that this person is saying is kind of interesting. But it's also like he ain't even been around that long. This podcast ain't been around long, and it has shot up the roof and gone viral in many ways. And I'm not saying this to hate or whatever because I congratulate anybody. It is what it is. Everybody got their own path in life. I ain't tripping off of that. But it just seemed like some of the rhetoric around some of the viral moments are part of language that goes against or is similar to feminist talking points. And particularly what I'm going to focus on today from this podcast and this podcaster. The podcast I'm speaking of is Grits and Eggs Podcast and the podcaster Deante Cow. And it's funny because when I first came across it before this particular viral post that pissed me off, like some of the things he was saying was cool. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Some of the majority of the things that he said on his podcast, I've said on my podcast before when it comes to the black community and stuff like that. But this particular viral moment, I don't agree with and I don't like it at all. And I feel though it's very dangerous for him to speak what he's speaking, particularly with him supposedly being a black man and the things that he said about black men. So, yeah, I believe it's 2 clips, and I'm going to pull these clips up and I'm going to play them and, you know, have a little dialogue around it. And let me find it because I, like, in the process of me having this show together, I've still been putting other things together. And let me say this, rest in peace to Ananda Lewis. I'm going through my stuff, my show stuff, and I came across her picture. And rest in peace to Ananda Lewis. She used to host the Teen Summit show on BET back in the day, a show that was very pivotal in a lot of black youth's lives back then. Rest in peace to her. She also was a VJ for MTV, and she also had a show. I think it was a syndicated talk show back in the day as well. She died of cancer. Rest in peace to her. And let me just speak on that real quick. One of the things that was irking me about that situation was the fact that she had a history of breast cancer in her family, so she knew that it was possible that she would get it. She ended up getting it. She found out when she was, I believe, stage 2 or stage 3, and the doctor advised her to get the mastectomy and go through treatment and stuff, and she didn't she didn't do it. And she also didn't believe in getting mammograms at the time, and that's one of the things that she said that she regretted doing. And doing her cancer diagnosis, that's one of the things that she championed and put out there, that for women to go get screened and stuff like that. But she also made a decision to go the holistic route with her treatments, which was her decision. And one of the things that was pissing me off about this situation was a lot of people calling it a conspiracy. She was a conspiracist because she didn't want to, do the conventional treatments and stuff like that. And my thing is, people die from conventional treatments as well. Like, either way, what I'm saying, there's a chance of you dying, you know. But when it comes down to it, it was her decision. It was her decision on how she wanted to live her life. And I think, people be getting so caught up into projecting onto other people and how they live their damn life. And I'll just be like, bruh, shut up. But rest in peace to Ananda Lewis. I remember her being a crush of my brother. Shit, I had a crush on her. A lot of young black men at the time had a crush on her back in the Teen Summit days. But let me find this clip. I think I'm getting closer. I think I'm getting closer. Let me see. All right, I think I'm getting closer. Come on, Dirk. Find the damn clip. All right, here we go. Let me find the clip. Come on. Hey. Yeah, I'm a little rusty. All right. Where the damn clip at? Finally, finding it. All right. Let me it's a couple of let me make sure that it's just those two clips. Okay, so it's 3 clips. Let me see. 3 clips. And I don't know which one I should start with, but let me start with them. I think this was the first one. Let me see. Oh, so it's 2. So dang, which one should I start with? I'm gonna start with this one. We'll pull it together. Okay, here go the first clip right here. All right.
Okay. Right. Anytime stuff like that happen, they say, "Oh, it's a war on black men." When their dirty deeds catch up to them, they say it's a war on black men. But the part that confuses me is that this war is not being waged by black women. But that's the way it's set up. The way that they would have it, have you perceive it, is that this war on black men is waged by black women,
and it's not.
It's not. But the war on black men has always been raised by the white society. White women seeing our sexual prowess, but using it like Carol Bryant did to be able to get us killed.
Yeah.
Mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline, black women don't have anything to do with that. They actually suffer under the same conditions. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
You getting ready to go out, getting dressed, you and the homies, a couple pre-games,
right?
Get in the car, y'all finna hit the spot.
Okay.
Has it ever crossed your mind like, man, I hope these bitches don't ruin the night?
No.
Never.
Ever.
It's never crossed your mind that a woman could ruin your night. Ever. If anything, hopefully I can bag me a woman and advance the night.
Right.
Enhance the night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women, whether they're going to the grocery store, going to class, going to the club, the thought has to always be in the back of their mind that a nigga will ruin their night. If they turn a nigga down, violence could ensue.
Right.
Physical violence or verbal assault. Right? Nigga, first thing a nigga gonna do, stupid, ugly bitch.
Yeah.
You ain't that fine anyway.
But you tried to holler.
Yeah. And we have to acknowledge the privileges that we have as a man, that we don't have to worry about like sexual harassment. Unfortunately, rape, like those aren't things we think about. Women go to the club, ain't nobody trying to roofie you, nigga.
Yeah.
And take advantage of you. If you go in a club right now and it was me and you. Let's say me and you, we go to the club. We walk in that bitch, nothing but women.
Right.
We're gonna be like, shit.
Let's do it.
Hey,
Let's do it.
hey.
It's a good night.
First of all, is this for the public?
Yeah. How we get here?
How do we get this lucky?
Yeah.
It's nothing but women here?
Mm-hmm.
If a woman and her homegirl walk in the club is nothing but men, that's a dangerous situation for them to be in. Like,
Okay. So I'm gonna just start with the first thing off the top of my head. Okay. So the first thing that's off the top of my head is the club situation. I believe I've said this on on the show before. Like, no, first let me go through the clip again, and I'm gonna stop and go stop and pause and go through and comment on it.
like, okay, Diddy and Tory, right?
Right.
Anytime stuff like that happen, they say, oh, it's a war on black men. When their dirty deeds catch up to them, they say it's a war on black men. But the part that confuses me is that this war is not being waged by black women.
We're gonna start right there. The war is being waged by black women. He's going to talk about how the war is really being waged by white supremacy. I agree with that. But they also are using black women to push the narrative for the white supremacy of these attacks on black men. And it's not all black women. It's a certain group of black women. The black women who identify as feminists or misandrous or just got issues where they've been hurt and they haven't healed from those issues.
But that's the way it's set up. The way that they would have you perceive it is that this war on black men is waged by black women.
And it's not.
It's not. But the war on black men has always been raised by the white society. White women seeing our sexual prowess, but using it like Carol Bryant did to be able to get us killed.
Yeah.
Massive. Okay, I'm gonna touch on the sexual prowess stuff after the video finishes, because I'm going to actually go and read the definition of sexual prowess. So just hold on with the sexual prowess part.
Incarceration, school to prison pipeline, black women don't have anything to do with that. They actually suffer under the same conditions. Now,
and that's where I disagree with him. Black women do have something to do with the school to prison pipeline. Excuse me. Burp number 1 and 2. Burp number 3. Because black women raise black men. Black women play a part in raising black men, just like black men have a part in raising black boys. So we all play a part in it. Even outside of it being your kid or not, you play a part in it as you being an example in the world to a black boy. We play a part in the school to prison pipeline by how we raise our children, how we conduct ourselves, and how we live as a community.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
You getting ready to go out, getting dressed, you and the homies, a couple pre-games,
right?
Get in the car, y'all finna hit the spot.
Okay.
Has it ever crossed your mind like, man, I hope these bitches don't ruin them night?
He's wrong there, because that's definitely has been on our mind. Like I've been to the club plenty of times before where we would be pre-gaming and we like, I hope the ladies in the club trying to party tonight. You know what I'm saying? I hope they not trying to hug the wall, or they, you know what I'm saying? These are my experiences. Like, I've only have been in situations where when you go into the club, you trying to party, you trying to have a good time. and you want to have a good time with everybody. So you hope that you don't go to the club and have to deal with people who ain't trying to have a good time.
No.
Never.
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 And one of the things about this dude is, like, I ain't trying to hate on him or anything like that, but you can tell that he's being disingenuous about his experience of being black, his experience of being black cultured. Like, he's definitely, and I'm not trying to hate, I'm just going off of observation and my experience with all sides of black people. Like, see, I've experienced all aspects of the black experience. Like, I've got friends and family who have been on the wrong side of the law. I've got family and friends who are on the right side of the law, into the books and into the business, the religion, the just regular 9 to 5 type. Like, I've experienced all aspects of the black experience in my life. This dude doesn't come off that way. You can look at the background of the video, and he's and I'm not trying to hate, I'm just saying, he comes off as a comic booky type dude. You can look at the little the type of earring thing that he got going on. His whole aesthetic is not of quote unquote cool or popular type of person. He doesn't come off as a person who has experienced different aspects of the black experience, the black culture. He comes off as a nerdy comic book anime type dude.
It's never crossed your mind that a woman could ruin your night. Ever. If anything, hopefully.
And I know some of the people who listen to my podcast, the black males that listen to my podcast, know what I'm speaking on. Like, even just the local type people. Like, here we go. I'm gonna give 2 examples, like the local type example. Like, he comes off as a dude that's from Montgomery County, Maryland. The black dude that comes off from Montgomery County, Maryland. For the people who aren't local to my area, he comes off as he comes off as like Nick Cannon from Love Don't Cost a Thing. So if you haven't seen that movie, watch that movie, Love Don't Cost a Thing, and check out the character Nick Cannon and the other black dude that's on Saturday Night Live. One of the Keenan and Kel dude. I don't know which one he is, but he comes off as one of those type of dudes, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not hating on him or anything like that, but when it comes to the black culture, quote unquote culture, or the black experience, there's different aspects of it, and some people just haven't reached or touched or experienced or lived in all of those areas. You know, some people have been sectioned and isolated in a certain aspect of the black quote unquote culture or experience. And he's that type of dude. He comes from the comic book, anime, cartoony, artistry, creative type dude, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating on that or anything. So don't look at me like that. But he's that type of dude that got those different type of earrings and dresses a little differently, and yeah.
I can bag me a woman and advance the night.
But today with social media, you can be anybody you want to be. Like, that's saying, like, before social media, you had to be cool in real life. and cool is relative, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not, but we all, let's be real. We know what's cool. People who popular, people who are cool, people who you know, been around in the know. I mean, shit. It's been plenty of times where I can recall, like, I've been known, but certain people wouldn't think that I was cool. But for the majority, you know what I'm saying, I was in the in crowd. Like, if you think about high school and stuff like that, I was in the in crowd. But that doesn't necessarily mean everybody in the in crowd thought that I was cool. But I was in the in crowd. But yeah, it's just a different type of experience. You know what I'm saying? I've been blessed to have experienced every aspect of the black community and the black culture. You know, I'm saying blessed for the simple fact that I'm very street smart and I'm very educated, and you know what I'm saying, I can navigate in any space in the room.
Right.
Enhance the night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women, whether they're going to the grocery store, going to class, going to the club, the thought has to always be in the back of their mind that a nigga will ruin their night. If they turn a nigga down, violence could ensue.
Right.
Physical violence or verbal assault. Right? Niggas first.
All right, so let's get to that. And I'm not saying that he isn't wrong, but I think he's hyping it up more than what it actually is. Because I've had plenty of conversations with black women. I've seen these situations happen in real life. You know what I'm saying? Where a dude would get turned down and he would call a woman out of her name and stuff like that. So I know it happens, you know. And I've also been on the side of it where I've got turned down and it's just not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain group of black dudes that do this. It's not all black men. And I feel like he's trying to he's generalizing it to make it seem like all black men do this. And that's my problem with the grits and eggs, Deante Cow dude. I got a problem with him generalizing all black men to just be in this same space. But it's cool to simp. It's cool to pander. And there's a thin line between allyship and pandering. And he's pandering.
Nigga gonna do stupid, ugly bitch.
Yeah.
You ain't that fine anyway.
But you tried to holler.
And I also attribute that to as well because, like I said, the type of black dude that he is, and he probably doesn't like other black men that are quote unquote have been or are popular or cooler than him because he didn't get the same attention, or because a girl that he liked wasn't liking him and was liking the popular dude or the cooler dude that probably treated the girl the wrong way, and he's trying to defend her through his projections and stuff like that. I've seen that plenty of times before, and I feel like that's his angle with all of this.
But you tried to holler.
Yeah.
And we have to acknowledge the privileges that we have as a man.
Because ain't no real dude sitting around thinking about this. Ain't no real dude sitting around talking about this. Real dude is thinking about himself and doing what he got to do. Ain't no real dude sitting around criticizing no other dude because he cussing some girl out or something like that. Like, who, like that, it happens. Like, it happens in all aspects of life. Somebody gonna get cussed out because the person is just an angry ass person, or they don't know how to express themselves, or they got their feelings hurt or something like that. But it's only a certain pocket of dudes that do this. But he's generalizing it to make it seem like all black men do this, but also excluding himself from it as well.
That we don't have to worry about like sexual harassment, unfortunately, rape. Like those aren't things we think.
And this is where he messes up right here. And this is where I know that this is all performative in a play. Black men statistically, and I'm saying statistically, are sexually assaulted more than any other men in the country. I've been sexually assaulted by women before. I've been sexually assaulted by women at a young age. I've been sexually assaulted by women in the club. I've been in the club plenty of times where women have grabbed my ass, grabbed my crotch. So this ain't no thing where it's just women getting assaulted, and not trying to do this competing thing, but I'm just talking to his point. Like, maybe you just ain't attractive enough for you to be getting assaulted. And I know that's probably the wrong thing to say, but it's like he's getting offended that he's not getting assaulted by women in the club. Like, I've been sexually assaulted by women in the club plenty of times before. And I'm not saying that I enjoyed it or anything, but it happened. And I'm like, bruh, come on now. Y'all doing too much and just keeping it moving. Where it was wrong was when I was sexually assaulted by a woman when I was younger. I mean, today, yeah, it's still wrong, but I mean, you just got, I mean, at that point, you just keeping it moving. Like, it was a certain group of girls, and every time it happened in the club, it was always by a certain type of girl. And it was these hood girls. It was hood girls that was doing that. Hood girls or drunk ass girls in the club grabbing my ass or grabbing my crotch.
About.
And that's something that I had to worry about when I was going to the club. Like, I don't want my shit to be being grabbed and stuff like that. Like, if I'm being cordial and respectful, like, I expect the same thing. Like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? That ain't I wasn't getting nothing out of that by them grabbing my ass or grabbing my crotch.
Women go to the club. You ain't nobody trying to roofie you, nigga.
Yeah.
And take advantage.
And that's what I'm talking about with experiences. Like, he just don't have the same experiences as other black men who are more socially accepted, I'll say.
To you, if you go in a club right now and it was me and you, let's say me and you, we go to the club, we walk in a bitch, nothing but women.
Right.
We're gonna be like, shit.
Let's do it.
Hey,
Let's do it.
Hey.
It's a good night.
First of all, is this for the public?
Yeah. How we get here?
How do we get this
Yeah,
lucky?
yeah.
It's nothing but women here?
Mm-hmm.
If a woman and her homegirl walk in the club is nothing but men, that's a dangerous situation for them to be in. Like,
And
okay,
I'm not saying that, like, let's take that last example. If 2-3 women walk in the club and there's all dudes, yeah, they probably going to feel a type of way. I can't speak for them. But that's not an ideal situation. You'll see that he just makes up examples to push his narrative. They aren't actual real life examples. So let's move on to the next clip. Damn, I gotta go through and find the damn tab close. I gotta go through and find the damn clip again. All right, so let's go through the second clip. Let me make sure I delete this first clip before I go back and play this clip again. All right, let me pull this up. All right, this is the first clip. Let me delete this first so I don't play this again. All right, so here go the second clip. The second clip.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Yeah.
And you are accountable for that as well. Because I don't got time to figure out which white people are nice.
I'm going to let the whole clip play first, and then I'm going to come back and do the stop and play.
White people aren't racist or da-da-da-da-da. I have to go on the actions of the group.
Right.
The group as a whole and the history of that group as a whole tells me that they are a danger to me and they are not to be trusted.
Right.
And if you can understand that as a black man and your stance towards white people, then you should absolutely be able to understand women's stance towards you. It's not a war on you waged by women. Actually, the war get a little thicker when we start talking about it from the perspective of a woman and the greater society of racism and white supremacy being waged against black people, and then the patriarchal society being waged against women. So they have to deal with two elements.
Oh, hold on. Damn. I said I was going to talk about the sexual prowess stuff. Let me do that before I forget again. All right. He was talking about the sexual prowess. Let me read that definition. All right. Damn, where did John go? I had the John. Where the hell did shit go? Okay, here we go. Damn, tripping. All right, it says sexual prowess refers to an individual's ability and skill in sexual activities. It encompasses various aspects, including physical performance, technical skills, emotional connection, confidence, and self-esteem. Sexual prowess. So he brought that up in the context of that, you know, that first clip. And my problem with that is sexual prowess don't have, like, for you to use sexual prowess as an example, it's nothing negative about the actual meaning of sexual prowess. Sexual prowess is just a natural aspect of a man or a woman. He's trying to only equate sexual prowess to men, particularly black men. But sexual prowess has to do as a collective on being just a human being, period. What the hell does the sexual prowess have to do with a man being rejected? Like, it's goofy. Like, he's just throwing around buzzwords and stuff like that to push his narrative, and the collective of people who listening to it is not going to look anything up. They're not going to research it. They're not going to challenge it. They just going to go with it because it's validating what they feeling in the moment. All right, so let's go back to the second clip.
One of those elements we don't have to think about, and honestly, we're perpetuated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perpetuated against us young to look at women as objects.
Right.
You know, to look at women only through the lens of a sexual desire and not as the human being that they are. And when you understand how to deal with women on a human level, you understand how much women will enrich your life.
Mm. Amen. Amen.
This guy.
You want to turn it up a notch?
Yeah.
This guy.
Get you a good woman get you a good black woman in your corner.
Amen.
Hey man, you want to see your life turn up?
Hey.
And see, this is the thing though. It's a privilege, bro. It's a privilege. You know what I'm saying? We often disregard the power of our black women. The spiritual essence that they're gonna bring to things. Mm-hmm. The knowing, the seeing, man. You know what I'm saying? Also too, imagine it. They have to be hyper vigilant. Because they have to be constantly scanning the room, making sure that they're in a safe situation.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? When we think about these kids who were clearly in Louisiana having the time of their fucking life because they graduated, and we think about white people's reaction to Black joy.
Oh yeah, that's
it's not about civility. Mm-hmm. It's not about decorum. They don't like to see us happy.
That's what it is.
Now. How often are women just having a good time, and here come a nigga trying to ruin their fun?
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. You can call it pandering, but if I was up here caping for white women, you wouldn't even mention that word. Mm-mm. If I was up here caping for Hispanic women, you wouldn't even call it pandering.
This is when you knew that he knew that he was wrong, that he knew that he was really pandering. Because he's trying to. Excuse me. He's trying to jump ahead and defend his pandering. This guy, man. All right. So, I'm gonna replay the clip and I'm gonna stop and play. But I just gotta be real. I have a problem. I have a serious problem with the Grits and Eggs podcast and Deante Kyle with this message. It's a dangerous message to generalize all black men and to put them in the space of to insinuate that they're the white people for black women. I got a problem with that. I can't let that go because that's a dangerous rhetoric. That's a dangerous message. To sit here and use examples of what white people have done to black people over centuries and to make it seem like black men are the white people of black women. I got a problem with that. I can't let that go. And I got a problem with anybody who agrees with that. I got a problem with that. Because that's some feminist talking points. That's some misandry right there. And it's just not true. Like I said, there's a thin line between allyship and pandering. And he's pandering. You can be an ally to black women. I believe for the most part, black men are allies to black women. But to do this pandering stuff and to generalize black men all in the same space and to use them in comparison to white people and all the atrocities, the effed up crap that they've done to black people over centuries of time, to being a threat to black women, I got a problem with that. And I'm not going to let that slide.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
He titled this clip as accountability in programming. And this is why I've always talked about on this podcast about using words correctly and how words are just important as actions. He's sitting here saying accountability. There's a difference between responsibility and accountability. I'm not going to be accountable for every black man out here doing crazy stuff, wrong stuff. Do I have a responsibility as a black man who is passionate about being a black man and for the black community? Yes, I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to conduct myself a certain way. I have a responsibility to be out here and give certain knowledge, wisdom to other black boys and black men. But am I going to be accountable for every black man out here doing stupid crap? Hell no. And that's the difference between words. There's a difference between responsibility and accountability. I'm going to be responsible for myself and conducting myself as an upstanding black man for the black community. But I will not be accountable for black men doing stupid crap.
And you are accountable for that as well. Because I don't got time to figure out which white people are nice, which white people aren't racist. Or
what do white people have to do with this conversation? And this is my problem with all of this. We sit here all the time and compare white people and what they doing to black people. And this is where we will always fail because we are followers. The black community, for the most part, are followers. We follow behind what the hell the white people do. We so brainwashed that we look at it like white is right and black is wrong. So we conduct ourselves as opposed to what the white society is saying is right and wrong. When we've known that they have been the biggest murderers, rapists, criminals on this planet. Not even just one section of just of it being America, of this planet.
I have to go on the actions of the group.
Right.
The group as a whole and the history of that group as a whole tells me that they are a danger to me and they are not to be trusted.
I gotta no. All black men are not all black men are not dangerous or a threat to black women. Like this is some pandering, goofy ass shit right here. We cannot tolerate this shit in the black community when people generalize all black men to be threats to black women. What kind of nonsense is this? So we just gonna forget about you just gonna forget the black women just gonna forget about their brothers, their cousins, their fathers and grandfathers who were good to them, who have been good examples for them. So you just gonna this is why I say my new campaign is gonna be who hurt you? Who hurt you? Because people will sit around and forget about all the good things that somebody has done for them and generalize it because they still hurt. They don't want to heal from a situation.
Right.
And if you can understand that as a black man and your stance towards white people, then you should absolutely be able to understand women's stance towards you.
No, I'm not going to understand that shit. I'm not going to understand that because white people have burned us. White people have hung us. White people have raped us. White people have stolen us. White people have killed us. White people have lied on us. You are not going to sit here and compare the atrocities of what white people have done over centuries of time to black men, a small group of black men who on some goofy shit, and generalize it and say that all black men should be accountable for that or should understand that. No.
It's not a war on you waged by women. Actually, the war get a little thicker when we start talking about it from the perspective of a woman and the greater society of racism and white supremacy being waged against black people, and then the patriarchal society.
This nigga just talk. He just throwing out buzzwords and talking shit. Because let's get on patriarchy right quick. Let's get on patriarchy. Let me pull that definition up. Patriarchy. Where the heck is that damn definition? Damn, I had that Jones say. Oh, here we go right here. Patriarchy. A patriarchal society is a social system. Keyword system. A patriarchal society is a social system where men hold primary power and predominate in roles of political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, and control of property. Where does that say black men? Please tell me, where does that say black men? The only time that a black man can get away with being part of the patriarchal society is if he got some money. But we see how that turns out for them. Look at R. Kelly now. Look at Puffy now. Shit. Look at Bill Cosby. I recently watched a documentary on Bill Cosby, and he ain't getting away with nothing. Puffy ain't getting away with nothing. R. Kelly ain't getting away with nothing. Those are the black men that think that they can be just like a white man in the patriarchal society. Not the other black men, not the average black man. But you see how that goes for them. Where are they at now? We talk about in these situations with R. Kelly, Puffy, and Bill Cosby and stuff, and you see black people coming out talking about something. What about the white men? What about Harvey Weinstein, such and such, and all that other stuff? What about Elvis? What about Jerry Lee Lewis, the Great Balls of Fire Bama? Like, they can get away with it because they have the complexion for the protection. That's how they getting away with it. You will have to have damning information for them to actually have to deal with any type of consequence. We've seen it with Trump. We've seen it with Bill Clinton. We've seen it with Jerry Epstein. How long they got away with the stuff that they was doing because they had the complexion for the protection. The only time they really had to deal with anything is when something damning came out. And that was something even slight with their punishments. But when it comes to black men that think that they can rub shoulders with these white men in the patriarchal society, you see where they at now. And I've always said this on this podcast. In the black community, we don't have no patriarchal society. Our households, our communities are mainly matriarchal. We got too many examples. You got your personal example of it. Your grandma, your aunties, your mother running the households. You got it on TV, Medea, all of that. Those are running the households. In the black community, it is a matriarchal society. It became that way for a lot of reasons. It became that way for government interference. It came that way because a lot of black men who was out there trying to do something for the community was killed off. So it's bullshit. The Grits and Eggs podcast, Deante Kyle dude, is just throwing buzzwords out. He's just pandering. It's bullshit.
Being waged against women. So they have to deal with two elements. One of those elements we don't have to think about. And honestly, we're perpetuated.
And that's where he's wrong. Black men do have to deal with the patriarchal society. That's why you have so many white men from centuries ago trying to son us, trying to have power over us, whether it be sexually or physically, where they raping us or trying to control us, making us work for them, sonning us, calling us boy. I mean, it's going on till this day. You got police out here. You've seen it in the movies. You've experienced it in some type of way, whether it's a story told to you or something. A black man has always been son or trying to be babied or parent by some white person, whether it be a white man or a white woman. So you can cut this pandering crap out.
Mm. And it's perpetuated against us young to look at women as objects.
Right.
You know, to look at women only through the lens of a sexual desire and not as the human being that they are.
Blah, 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 blah. He just throwing shit out there. Yes. This society is overly sexualized. This ain't got nothing to do with just black men or black women. This is society, period. But when it comes down to it, when you look at the quote unquote black community or the black culture, the black women, there's a certain group of black women that's perpetuating this over sexualized image just as much as the black men are doing. So what is he talking about? Deante Kyle, the Grits and Eggs podcast, you full of it. You full of it. You pandering.
And when you understand how to deal with women on a human level, you understand how much women will enrich your life.
Like, let's be real, man. Let's be real. When you talk about communities, you talk about the white community, Hispanic community, Asian community, black community. You just look at it from a political landscape. The black men are tied to black women more than other men are tied to their women in these different communities. Despite what you have this discord between black women and black men have heavily voted the same way as black women in every damn election. Excuse me. Burp number 4 or 5. I don't know what the hell it is. I'm hyped right now. I'm pissed off. I'm in my villain area. And this is what, you know what I'm saying, I was talking about at the beginning of the podcast. I'm tired of holding shit in. I'm tired of just being quiet. I gotta be in my villain area. And it's funny because, like, even with the astrology stuff and that app that I was talking about, it said to me that it's said based off of my chart and the things that's going on right now for the next few months or in the next couple of years, I'm going to be in my villain era. And I've been feeling it bubbling. I'm tired of being quiet. I'm tired of letting stuff go. I'm tired of hearing simple ass dudes like this go viral and pushing this BS out here.
Amen. Amen.
You want to turn it up a notch?
Yeah.
Get you a good woman, and get you a good black woman, and you cool.
Man, shut up. I'm done playing this clip. Let me move on to the next clip. Like, cause it's just BS. Like, it's just pandering. It's exactly what I said. It's a thin line between allyship and pandering. And Deante Kyle in the Grits and Eggs podcast is pandering. It's just straight pandering. Like, it's easy to make black man the villain. Like, we are the villain from the time these social structures or these societal structures have been put in place. Black man has been the villain. Like, if you think about one of the first films that came out in America, one of the highly influential, recognized films, The Birth of a Nation, 1915. What did it portray? It had racist themes and depictions of black men being a threat to white women. First movie ever made with racism. Birth of a Nation, 1915. It started that campaign of black men being a threat. I was having this conversation while I, look for the third clip, the last clip, about I was talking to a black woman and I said, think about it. I was like, so if you saw a black dude walking down the street with his shirt off, you would look at him as a threat. But if you saw a white dude, no, let me roll back. If you saw a black dude with his shirt off walking or jogging down the street, you would look at him as a threat, like something is off there. But if you see a white dude with his shirt off walking and jogging down the street, you just going to look at it like he exercising. There has been a strong narrative and programming in black men being a threat to society. Not just white women, not just white men, but black women as well. Asian men and women. Hispanic men and women. Black men are perceived as a threat because we are the first line of defense for our community. All right, so this right here, this clip um is pretty much his response to some of the backlash of the first two clips that I played, because there was backlash. There was a lot of backlash when it came to some black women and some black men. I mean, it was divided. It really was divided. It was like on Twitter, it ramped up the discord between black men and black women. Those two clips. Now, let me find. I gotta find it again. Like, here we go. All right. So, like, just thinking about like why I try to find a clip. Just thinking about it, like even his whole all the things he said. The stuff is like people was acting like what he said was new. Like to me, is the stuff I've heard it before. I've heard it from women. I've heard it from the LGBT community. I've heard it from a ton of different people. Like the things he said was outdated, you know. And the funny thing about it is we have social media now, so we've seen so many women that complain about these things or certain things when it comes to black men, but then they also turn around and run right back to that being their preference for who they want to be with. And it's just annoying, like that this stuff has to be out there like that. Like black men really are the most raped, the most policed, the most murdered, the most falsely accused population in America. Like we have to deal with patriarchy, we have to deal with white supremacy, we have to deal with sexism, our quote unquote sexual prowess, and we got to deal with our quote unquote sexual prowess when it comes to white men. And that's when they be really amped up on the patriarchy side and trying to son us and boy us and trying to make themselves feel better about themselves because of how our sexual prowess and our aura comes off in society, period. But like I was saying, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that he's saying is just is very dangerous. You know, it's just very dangerous. And it's like the majority of the women who he was using as an example complaining about this stuff are the same women that keep themselves in that same type of environment 24/7. 24/7. Like imagine a white person saying that we need to be responsible. No, we need to be accountable. Imagine a white person saying that we need to be accountable for all the black idiots out there doing the stupid stuff. Imagine a white person saying that to you. How would you feel? So then you telling me I'm supposed to agree and feel comfortable with this black dude saying that all black men should be accountable for the idiots out there doing that retarded stuff. Excuse me, I'm sorry for using that word. That's stupid stuff. It's just confirmation bias. Like the stuff he's saying is pandering, is confirmation bias to the women who I'm going to continue to push this campaign on. Who hurt you? Who hurt you? All right, here go the clip because I'm getting to the point where I'm getting hungry and I gotta use the bathroom. So here go. This is not even the last clip. I think I got this 2 more clips. Trust me, it's 2 more clips. Here we go.
Care if it's getting lost on you. I don't care about being called. I don't care. Simp, panderer, don't matter. Accountability in 5.
See, this ain't no joke. But he's trying to lighten it up because he know he's wrong. He didn't expect to get the backlash that he got. Because the way he responded, how fast he responded, goof, man.
Here's the thing. Doctors, lawyers,
And-
politicians, entrepreneurs, young academics,
And listen to his defense behind it. Listen to this goofy shit right here.
educators, astrophysicists, media personalities, they all support the Grits and Eggs podcast. So I don't care what the dark serpent Osiris son, the god.
So this tell you right here that he's trying to put validation from other people behind his takes or his defense of his take. Like, what the hell does scholars and educated people got to do? Like, there's always going to be somebody who supports you in any type of way. Like, and then he's going to move on to talking about the red pill society, the like he just said, the Osiris and stuff like that. Like, what is you talking about, dude? Like, you sitting here, you telling on yourself right now, proving that you know that you was wrong for the things that you said, because you're trying to justify it by the people who support you with these bullshit ass takes. Because when it comes down to it, it wasn't just the red pill society who was going against that bullshit that you put out there with this generalization behind black men and saying black men are the white people for black women. Like, it was all aspects of life. But it's easy to put out a group of people who are already ostracized in the black community, which is the red pill society, and even in the greater society outside of the black community, because the red pill society is supposed to be people who are misogynistic and hate women type people. But then he's trying to lump in the quote unquote black spiritual people, or the black what's them people called? The black pretty much the black spiritual people, when you talk about the Osiris and the third eye type stuff and all that other stuff. Like, he just using this showed me right here that this dude ain't really intelligent. He's just throwing out buzzwords and buzz terms that he knows that will get the attention that he needs to grow his following and his podcast and stuff. Like, he's not authentically being himself. Like, he's just throwing out things out there that he knows that will get a rise out of the collective of the feminists and the people who's looking for confirmation bias and stuff. But let me hurry up and finish this.
Ooh, son. What's his name?
Third Eye Osiris, the Serpent King. You know, niggas with names like that.
Yeah.
I seen a nigga come on like, look, y'all, this is what I be talking about. Niggas is they love that esoteric knowledge.
Yeah.
This young dude come on, greetings, Planet Kai. I was like, oh shit.
Greetings, Planet Kai.
Yeah,
is
nigga,
crazy.
Nigga think he Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
He trying to get together the elements. Greetings, Planet Kai. It's like, I don't expect that nigga to agree with me.
Right.
Because they're leaning into like esoteric knowledge and cult behavior.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Cults need a leader. And 9 out of 10, that leader, for some reason, needs to sleep with everybody.
Nah, nigga, that's what you trying to do. You trying to get some you trying to get that through your pandering. You trying to get that love from women that you ain't never got before. See, I can spot these dudes from a mile away that ain't never got no attention from no women or nothing like that, because they'll use things that widely accepted with a group of women and men who have a disdain towards black men, and black men trying to be leaders or assertive in the community. This dude is no different from those black women who I'm asking, who hurt you? Who hurt you, bruh? Who hurt you? Like why you choosing these certain groups of people to focus on, when you know that there's been mostly people outside of this esoteric and this spiritualized aspect that has been going against you? He don't want to confront them, but he's using a certain group of people that he knows that already are disliked or looked at as being weird in the community.
Greetings, Planet Kai. Yes, nigga. The crown shocker, the third god, the Sun King, the water god. niggas are
The water god.
the water
Niggas
god.
don't know how to swim.
Yeah. Nigga thinking Poseidon now. I think the thing is this. I have some empathy towards the red pill community. But I have a question for the red pill community too. Where are your scholars?
See, he's making it seem as though that you gotta. This is where I show this dude is a weak dude, because he's sitting here trying to fuel his takes behind who's validating it or who he perceives as validating it, and it means nothing. Because if you can't stand 10 toes down on your own, then what does it matter what you got to say? And I'm saying this based off of what I was saying at the beginning of the podcast. So let me play this last clip that I got of him with this whole situation, and I'm going to end the pod here. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, if I got some other stuff, I continue here. But, yeah. This is why I got a problem with this type of bullshit. And I ain't gonna lie, it pisses me off that these type of dudes, these type of people go these viral moments. I understand why it goes viral and why these dudes get certain type of attention, because they pandering to the collective that's just lost and that are just hurt and looking for anything to validate their trauma or their hurt. So let me pull up this last clip. Here we go.
I understand that accountability just a word. It can be a trigger word for some people, right? Mm-hmm. Some people grew up in like hostile environments, especially like they might have had like.
See, he's still trying to defend and deflect from what he's saying being wrong and trying to make excuses for it. But see, that's one of the things where I always pride myself on with my podcast and with the blog and stuff like that. I'm no better than nobody out here, bruh. I'm no better than anybody out here. I've done messed up stuff. I've hurt people. I've been hurt. I've looked at things wrong. I've communicated wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm not perfect. But I will never make it seem like I'm outside of anybody else that has done anything that is imperfect. I embrace my imperfections because I recognize that makes me human, and I relate to each and every person that's out here living that same imperfect life. But this Deante Cow dude, he talking about accountability, and he not taking accountability for this dangerous message that he's pushing out here, generalizing all black men being the same or all black men being the white person, the white people, the white supremacy society, the white supremacy system of black women. He not taking accountability for that because he know he wrong.
Helicopter parents are very overbearing, are very strict parents, so they had to be hyper vigilant in their childhood, and whether that be that they were always accused of doing something, right? Your parents questioning you, and you always on the defense, like, so you take that word, and it may trigger something about being in trouble, like you feel like you're in trouble,
Right.
and a child, when they're in trouble, either one lies, which we've seen a lot of lying going on, or two tries to pass the buck, and we see a lot of that going on. I'm talking to men, and men are saying, well, what about women? I'm talking to men. I'm a man.
Ain't none of the men out here that has been going against the things that he said, sitting here talking. They have been defending men. They have been focusing on men. What black women always do that fall into these traps is they always do the tit for tat stuff. But what about black men? But what about black men? That's what they do. They do the avoidance of accountability. It's a running joke. It's a running joke in outside of social media and on social media. It's a running joke that black women and women in general aren't accountable. Like, this dude is full of shit, man.
Man, if W.E.B. the boys, who gonna be the girls?
I like what you did there, brother.
Like, he's trying to make jokes to lighten the mood and deflect from him just being wrong. He don't have no defense for him having this dangerous take and people coming back and challenging him on it. He thought that it was going to slide because everything else that he's been putting out there that has gone viral has been sliding. Nah, we ain't letting this slide. I ain't letting this slide.
I stole that from a girl on Twitter. That shit was so funny to me. But it can be a trigger. You grow up in these hostile environments or with these overbearing parents, and anytime there's an accusation, it'll put you on 10. You have to find a way out. You always playing the defense. And I just want you to know that this isn't one of those times. But I know that as we get into anti-intellectualism and we get into a place where people let their ideologies lead the way and just turn their brain off to everything. So let's make this a simple analogy.
Okay.
Me and you, we riding in the car. Mm-hmm. Road rage incident happened just out the blue. I hop out.
And this is one thing that I definitely noticed from him. He always used these examples that don't have nothing to do with the actual point of conversation. But he will use them and people will fall for them because it's an assumed validation for the previous point of what he was trying to make. But it has nothing to do with this. Just listen. Just listen to what he's going to say.
The nigga down. If you don't come forward and say, yo, I was with this nigga, he wilded out, he killed somebody, it shit ain't have nothing to do with me. I'm just letting y'all know this is his name, this is information. You snitch, right?
Right.
But you take the onus off of you because you didn't do anything to create this situation, but you are doing something to rectify the situation, right?
Right.
To bring forth justice because he tripped out and he killed somebody. Mm-hmm. That is you taking accountability for yourself. You're not taking accountability for his action because you don't need to be accountable if you did something to rectify the situation. Now, if you say nothing, you become an accessory to murder, and now you are accountable for his actions because you didn't do anything.
Right.
If you in the car with a nigga and they jump out and blick somebody down and you don't come forth to the police, you will be held accountable for his actions because you were there and you didn't do anything about it.
Facts.
So,
see what I'm saying? So he's trying to equate an actual personal situation where two people were in a car together and one of the people did a crime and the other one is basically you know, falling in line with the person who did the crime and ain't going to tell on him, I guess you can say. You know, the telling and the snitching stuff is so all over the place when it comes to our community. I hate using those terms, but he's trying to equate that with me, a 43-year-old black man who has a 9 to 5 job, has his own home, has a car, has hobbies, has a bachelor's degree, uh, has a family, you know, lives a pretty isolated, normal life, goes to the gym. That's his most consistent thing in his life is the gym or whatever. That I'm supposed to take accountability for the dude that's down in DC somewhere shooting and robbing people, that I'm supposed to take accountability for him. I don't know the dude. I ain't never seen him before. If I know anything of him, it's because he popped up on the news and I'm supposed to take accountability for him. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. And this is where I say this dude ain't intelligent. He not wise. All he doing is throwing stuff out there that he knows will validate the people who don't want to come up out, won't want to pull their head out of the sand or out their ass to dream of something better or live a better life or just heal from something that has harmed them. I'm done. I'm not even going to play the rest of the clip. It was probably like a 30 seconds left or something. I'm not even going to play the rest of it because at this point it's just bullshit. It is utter bullshit. It's utter bullshit. But let me move on with this last part. So, like, it was previously Father's Day, and I noticed, you know, going into the stores and stuff like that, particularly I went into like TJ Maxx and Marshall's, you know, because they usually be having like tables in the front of the store. Excuse me, burp number 6 or 7. I don't know. Where they, you know, have gifts that's specific for whatever holiday it is. Man, I went in these stores. I'm trying to find a gift for my dad for Father's Day. They ain't have not a table up in there. They ain't have nothing, no advertisements, no specials, no sales, no nothing. And I'm just like, damn, bruh. Why they doing the fathers like this? And it's just sad. It's sad that they doing the fathers like this, man. and that's how society is, man. Society be hard on the fathers, on the men, and particularly black men, and especially when you see all the posts. When I was seeing all the posts on Father's Day coming from black women and certain black men or whatever, it was saying shout out to all the present fathers and all this other stuff and all the fathers who are there in the life and doing this and that and all this other stuff. But when it come to Mother's Day, those same people, you will never see shout out to all the mothers who are out there present in their children's lives and doing stuff. And I'm just like, bruh, come on, nah. There's mothers out here that are absent. There's mothers out here that ain't worth a damn. There's mothers out here who aren't present, who ain't doing nothing. But you don't hear that talk about shout out to all the mothers who are present and you don't hear that. But when it comes to Father's Day, that's what you hear. That's foul. That's foul. That's messed up. And let me say this, and I'm in the pod right here. Shout out to all the women empowerment women that I've seen on social media who are actually recognizing June and Men's Health Month. Shout out to y'all. Because I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm like, by nature, I'm a very analytic person. I'm a researcher by nature. And I'm looking at some of these women empowerment women influencers out here that I know and follow and stuff like that who aren't even recognizing June as being Men's Health Month. And I'm kind of looking side eyed and I'm like, And it's making me look deeper into their messages of their empowerment to women or whatever. And I'm like, there's something a little sketchy around y'all message and stuff now that I didn't notice before, but I ain't going to focus on that. I'm just going to focus on the women empowerment influencers out there who are actually recognizing June being Men's Health Month. Shout out to you. Shout out to you for doing that, because when it comes down to it, we need each other. And in the black community, we definitely need each other. We got to start working together. We got to get out of our own way. Like, seriously, like I said, my new campaign is Who Hurt You? Who Hurt You? Because collectively, we are operating from a place of hurt. All of us, black men and black women, we operating from a hurt. We sitting here pointing fingers. We on the seesaw going up and down, talking about who did what to who and all that other stuff. We ain't working nothing out. We just playing the game. But this has been a Taste to Consider podcast. I'm your host, Derek Silver. And yeah, I'm done. My villain era.